All this is an extension of stem and leaf plots. It's when I have two sets of data that are comparable in some way, and I put them on one plot. Okay, hence the back-to-back part. Okay, the reality is, for a back-to-back stem and leaf plot, it's also known as a two-sided stem and leaf plot, is that the stems are the same for both sets of data. Okay, that's the key. You have two sets of data using the same stems, and one side of the stem and leaf plot is going to be one set of data, and the other side of the stem and leaf plot is going to be the other set of data. Okay, so first I'm going to give you some data, and then I'll talk about how to create the actual stem and leaf plot. So go ahead and take a picture of this. That's the data we're going to look at. Right up your wheelhouse, Claire.
Look anywhere?
I don't know.
Probably,
Probably is.
Instead of 84.
I don't know. So we're going to look at heights in centimeters of some basketball players. In this particular example, we have some data on boys and girls basketball teams. Their height was measured in centimeters, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to put both sets of data on one stem and leaf plot, known as a back-to-back stem and leaf plot or a two-sided stem and leaf plot. And what it's going to look like is something like this, okay? With the stems in the middle, okay? And now the stems that you create, because you're going to do this, the stems that you create have to cover both sets of data. So the lowest stem, the smallest stem, has to contain the smallest data value in either data set, okay? And then you're going to make sure that the highest stem contains the highest data between both data sets. So for right now, just go ahead and create the stems in general for these data sets. What's the smallest number? 145. Anything smaller than 145? Are you sure? Okay, so that means my stem needs to be how much? 14. Okay. Híjole.
Whoa, you speak Spanish?
Un poquito. Okay. What's the biggest one? That's it? We sure it's 18? What's the biggest data value? 185. Are you sure? Okay. Because I'm just double checking. Right? So then we just got to fill those in. So go ahead and then for the boys, do the boys first. Because everything over here is just like a normal stem and leaf plot that you already did. I want you to hold off on the girls one first, okay? So go ahead and finish the boys. Okay. So here's a cleaner version of what it should start with. So we're just going to worry about the boys side right now. Here's what the boys side is going to look like. So Ashley's question, what if there's nothing? Yeah, you leave it blank. There's nothing there. If you put a data value there, then it assumes there's going to be a value. And since the boys don't have anybody in the 140s, we just leave it blank. Now, here's a couple things I want to point out. Okay, yesterday when I showed you how to do this, I did put commas in between them. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You can do either way. One of the key things that's important about a stem and leaf plot is that the spacing between each number is the same. Because if you tried to cram all these numbers together here, for example, you wouldn't necessarily see that the most data values occur for the boys in the 160s. Okay, so keeping the spacing the same helps us see some tendencies. Are there any questions? Are there any questions about the boys' side? Any issues there? No. So here's how the left-hand side of any back-to-back stem and leaf plot works. Okay, keep in mind that everything starts from the stem, and then these are the backs. Okay, because of that, so for example, we've got 145, right, for the girls, right here. So in this case, it's not a big deal. You start it to the left, and so we read it kind of backwards. Now let's look at the 150s, because for the 150s, there's 155. 155, yes.
Right to left instead of left.
So right, here's the question. Is there only 5 of them? Am I missing one?
No.
I got them all. Okay. So in this case, what we do is we work our way out. Okay, so yes, instead of going left to right when we do this, on this side, we go from right to left. So I start with my numbers. I start with the smallest one closest to the stem. So 154 is there. There's 3 155s, and then there is a 157. So we kind of look at it going this way now. Okay? So that's the only new part of this really, besides putting two data sets on a stem and leaf plot together. On the left side, we work our way from the inside out, and that's really the only difference. Okay? You're welcome to finish that. I'm going to put it up here because I know you can do this. It's not hard, but again, that's the only new thing that you're going to do today as a part of your homework. You're going to do the back-to-back stem and leaf plot, and it's the second set of data that you go from right to left on. That's a little bit different. Okay? Any questions about that?
It doesn't matter if you did like the boys on this side, girls on this side.
Correct. So, right, if I would have put the boys on the left and the girls on the right, then the boys would have gone from the inside out and gone right to left. Right. So how you label it and is up to you, unless it's specific about how to label it, or it's already provided for you and then you just have to fill it in. Okay?
Shows the rest for
Okay? And again, there's none of the girls are in the 180s, so we leave that blank just like we did for the boys because there were none in the 140s. Okay?